Russia, Russia, Russia. Can't live with them, can't live without them. You want heating oil? If you live in Europe, you want heating oil? Well, a third of it comes from Russia. Hey guys, I'm Rogan, and this is my rant. We believe in the diversity of thought here on this channel. If you like crazy content like this, if you like certain topics and stuff like that, I want you to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And that subscribe button. It's free, still free. And that notification bell. It might work, it might not. Alright, guys. You know what to do if you don't like the video. I say it at the end of every video. So, and I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below. So, if you guys didn't guess it, I am going to be talking about today the current Ukraine-Russia situation, what's happening around the globe. You know, China's Russia's best friend. You know, like Russia's like, oh well, we're Russia and we want Ukraine, and then China's just like, oh well, we're China and we believe Taiwan belongs to us, just like how Russia believes Crimea belongs to them. So, like a lot of this Russia stuff goes way back to the Cold War. You know, I could do a separate video about that, but in short, you know, after World War II ended, you know, the Soviet Union basically formed, and you know, and like all of the Baltic states and like Ukraine, Belarus, you know, some of the stands that we see on the map right now, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, like some of these other stands that you see on the map. Like just look at a world map. I mean, I have one right behind the camera. I love looking at maps every day. So and then after that, and after the Soviet Union fell in 91, like 89, 91, you know, they basically lost a lot of their buffers, and NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, they kept, you know, inching more and more and more on, you know, Russia's territory, basically. And what NATO basically is just a military alliance between, like, you know, the US and Canada and a lot of countries in Europe. And, you know, Russia had its own little alliance, the Warsaw Pact. And that's, you know, no one really talks about that anymore. But yeah, so Russia is right now, at the time we're recording this video, they're accusing the U.S. and other countries in Europe that they're spreading misinformation, saying that an invasion is imminent. An invasion is imminent. Russia is about to invade, or like they could invade any day now. The earliest can be Tuesday. So that's going to be Tuesday, February 15th. That's what they're saying, the earliest that they can actually invade. Again, this video will become dated and stuff like that. But so Russia is accusing us, like our media in the US, of spreading misinformation. But in terms of what was happening right now, there's aggression on both sides. Like we have, like, you know, the US has sent, you know, 3,000 troops to Poland recently, and now but the Ukraine is a very democratic, you know, peaceful, more free place than Russia is. Like Russia likes to say they have a democracy, but they really don't. It's a kind of like a very flawed democracy, because Putin basically was the number one leader in Russia. I don't really know what they call it, like prime minister, and then he like laterally moved to like a second in command, and then he moved back into first command. So he's been basically like a modern dictator for, you know, 25 plus years. So, you know, it's, you know, they Russia, they want to relive the glory days of the Soviet Union. They want more territory, of course. You know, they need, you know, it's a very cold in country, and they don't have, you know, a warm water port year round. That's why they have that little sliver in the Baltics near Lithuania. And they took Crimea because they wanted, you know, warm water port. They wanted more access to do more Navy exercises. Their Navy, you know, more, you know, stuff in the water. So but Russia, you know, Russia has a drinking problem. They have a really bad alcohol problem with their population, and they have a really decline, and their population is declining. So when they annexed Crimea, they added, I don't know how many, they might have added hundreds of thousands of people to the population of Russia, because they believe that that land is theirs, and they, you know, but then there's all this talk going around in the U.S. and Europe saying like, oh well, Russia wants to take over Ukraine and stuff like that. Well, there's the other side of this argument is that Russia is a big bad, like China is these days. They still are, but if you think about it, they feel threatened because NATO is threatening to become even more close than it already is. I mean, if you look at a map, Ukraine is literally right near Europe, and it's very close to Moscow, and it's very, you know, and having, you know, a NATO country like Ukraine hasn't joined NATO yet, but they could if they want to. Fantastic, that's great. But if they want to defend themselves and be their own thing, that's their decision. That's there too. But this goes really deep. I mean, this could be a very long video, so stick around, like the video. But so, like, Russia has, over the Ukraine's history after the Soviet Union fell, they always tried to install a president in Ukraine that was very pro-Russia, very pro-Russia policies that Russia likes to implement in their own country. But Ukraine was like, we're not having that. We're going to be our own thing. We're going to be more free than Russia. We're going to have a democratic leader. But Russia doesn't like that, and they've tried multiple times to instill a more pro-Russia leader to the Ukraine, and it has failed in the past. And people are saying like, oh well, if Russia goes into Ukraine, they want to do that same thing. Of course, they want to do that same thing. They want a pro-Russia person leading their next door neighbor country. I mean, like, think about it. Russia, again, like I said, Russia is a big bad, but they feel threatened because NATO has been encroaching on their like closer and closer to their territory for years now, and with Ukraine being the next possible thing, it's pretty scary. That'd be like if Mexico and the Central American countries in South America and Canada, they made an alliance, and their ideology really differed from the U.S.'s ideology. Like, we'd have like enemies really close on our doorstep. So you know and then recently Russia has been conducting military exercises in Belarus, and Belarus is just another country north of Ukraine next to Russia. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, Russia is imminent, it's good, they're going to invade any day now. They're Russia is preparing for a potential land invasion of Ukraine. They are preparing for that. But in my opinion, I think the reason they still haven't done that yet is because they're just defending what they can defend. If they have a lot of troops and tanks and stuff like that on the border, you know, they're just it's just as a security measure. But then there's also the possibility that they could invade. There is. And I can make another video someday about China, but Russia and China are heavily allied. Their ideologies are similar but different, but they really they basically think on the same wavelength and stuff like that. So that is basically the whole situation. I know I didn't really cover everything. I know I threw in a lot of history there and map stuff, but I'm really interested in this type of stuff. That's why I wanted to make this video. And if you want to see more content like this, if you want to see me making any more updates, like say world news, I would definitely like to cover that. And I am going to be getting back to some finance related topics. But what I've noticed is that some of the finance related topics on the channel, they don't usually perform as well as some of these other off the cuff, rants. So I really enjoy making those types of videos, but they don't seem to do that well. So I'll sprinkle them in here and there. But for now, I'll focus on a lot of other topics. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you didn't like the video, if you didn't like my comments or my shirt, just remember to smash that dislike button. It gives me a chance to improve, make better content, make more content, and then just get better overall with what I'm doing. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you next time.